This is Ghost Hunter Joe, and the video you're watching was recorded at the allegedly haunted Veterans Park located in Newark, Ohio. This is the Buckingham House located at the Veterans Park. It was originally built in 1835 and later became the home of Judge Jerome Buckingham. The home currently serves as the main office, library, and archives of the Licking County Historical Society. This is the Sherwood Davison House, which is also located at the Veterans Park in Newark. It was built in 1828 by Buckingham Sherwood, a Newark area merchant, and is considered to be one of the finest examples of federal architecture in the Ohio Valley. In 1946, the home was slated for demolition, and in 1947 was purchased by the Historical Society and moved to its current location in 1948, where it was restored and has served as a museum ever since. This is the National Heisey Museum, located at the Veterans Park in Newark, Ohio. The Heisey Glass Company was one of Newark's largest employers from 1895 to 1957. My paternal grandfather and great-grandfather worked at the Heisey Glass Company, according to their obituaries. At the southern entrance to the Veterans Park stands this statue of John Clem, also known as Johnny Shiloh. He was a native of Newark, Ohio, and is considered the youngest person to have ever served in the United States Army. Clem served in the Civil War after running away from home to join the Army at the age of 9. He retired in 1915 as a brigadier general. He passed away in 1937, is buried at Arlington National Cemetery. This is a close-up of the plaque to his statue at the Veterans Park in Newark, Ohio. Also located at the Veterans Park is a beautiful and seemingly peaceful Veterans Walk of Honor, which was dedicated to area veterans in 1996. The Veterans Walk of Honor is lined with bricks bearing the names of Licking County veterans. My father and uncles Robert and Ralph should have bricks along the walkway, but I have not been able to locate them. For the record, around this time this walkway was dedicated, it was necessary for me to argue with the veterans group that places flags at veterans' graves every Memorial Day to put a sticker on my father's grave at the St. Joseph Cemetery and start placing a flag at his grave, even though he was a highly decorated veteran who apparently went for years without any recognition. My friend and co-worker Heather is of the belief that the many bricks honoring veterans were purchased by the veterans' family members. I'm not so sure that I accept this explanation, because I do not believe there would be as many if they were bought and paid for by family members, especially family members of veterans from the War of 1812 and the Civil War. In July 2023, Heather and I visited the Veterans Park. This is Heather on the Walk of Fame holding the K2 meter. The K2 meter is an EMF detector. EMF stands for electromagnetic fields. It is believed that spirits are comprised of electrical energy and can be detected by EMF detectors. You may wish to note that the K2 meter is registering a 4 out of 5.
Hi, this is Ghost Hunter Joe. I'm at the Veterans Park in Newark, Ohio. I'm standing at the entrance of the Veterans Memorial Walkway. This is fellow Ghost Hunter Heather, and we're going to walk the Walk of Honor, and we're going to see if we get any activity with the K2 meter. Okay, is it on?
Yep.
Oh, it was lighting up. Now it's down to oh, wait a minute. It was lighting up to like a 3, but okay, it's lighting up to 3 again. Okay, let's see if we get any activity on this Walk of Honor. Is there any veterans or any spirits touch this box that Heather's holding? And that will show us that you're here. Yeah, we're getting a steady 3. Okay, it's down to a 1 right now. Oh, wait, no, I guess it is a 3. It's hard to tell in the daylight. That's why I like investigating at night. Yeah, it's a steady 3. If anybody can give us any explanation for why that would be, leave a comment in the comments section. But right now it's a steady 3. Okay, once again, we're walking along the Walk of Honor in Newark, Ohio, at the Veterans Memorial Park, and we're holding the K2 meter, which detects electromagnetic fields. And we're detecting something because it's lighting up to a 3. Okay, we're approaching the end. Is it still lighting up to a 3?
No. It's flickering down to 1, now it's jumping back up to a 3.
Okay.
Okay, Ghost, if you're still with us, if you can, cross the rods. Make the rods move. Okay, now uncross. Spirit that's with us, are you related to me or Joe? If you are, cross the rods. Are you someone that has been buried at this place? If you are, cross the rods.
For the record, we're at the 6th Street Cemetery in Newark, Ohio, also known as the Veterans Memorial Park.
Are you a veteran who's here with us? If you are, cross the rods. Are you still here? Whoever's with us, cross the rods and show us that you're still here.
Okay, can you cross the rod if you're the one that was making the meter Heather was holding light up to a 5? If you were doing that, can you cross the rods? We'll get the meter back out, but I wanted to see if you could cross the rods first. Cross the rods and we'll get the meter back out. He seemed to like the rods. I'm sorry, he seemed to like the meter.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious if you'll answer to me.
Okay, let's switch. Go ahead, turn on. Okay, now we got Heather doing the dowsing rods. Can you cross the rods for Heather? Indicating that you're willing to communicate with us. Okay, open back up, please.
Open back up.
Okay. Can you cross the rods if you're the one that was making the meter light up every time I walked away, and then when I would walk over, you'd stop lighting it up? That was you? Okay, open back up, please. Okay. Do you like Heather and you don't like me? Okay. That's okay. Not everybody likes me. I get it. You want to use the meter again? Cross the rods if you want to do the meter again.
Okay, before I get the meter back out, I got a question. Are you one of my relatives? Okay, open up. Are you my grandfather, Eldon, also known as Don? Open up. Am I close to your brick that Grandma got you? If I am, cross. Is it to my right? If it is, cross. Is your brick to the left of me? Cross. Okay, open back up. Let's get out the K2 meter, and when we get close to your brick, can you light that back up to level 5? If you understand me, cross them. Okay, Grandpa, uncross. I'm gonna get the K2 out.
Okay, we got the K2 meter going, and it's lighting up again.
I asked my grandfather to light it up when we get close to his brick. He has a brick somewhere near here that my grandma got for him just right after he passed. He was a Korean War veteran. He was in the army, and he died like a year after they started building this park. And he was from Licking County. He was raised up his whole entire life in Licking County. Hey, Grandpa. I don't know if you know where it is or not.
Let's stop for a second.
At this point, I remembered how during a different investigation involving a little girl spirit named Matilda, we were able to get her to lead us to her grave by using the dowsing rods, and I suggested to Heather that we try this.
Grandpa, are you still with us? If you are, cross the rods. Okay. Can I uncross them? Which way is your brick that is here? Can you turn the rods to what direction?
Lead us to your brick.
Lead us to your brick.
Okay, apparently he's going this way, so walk the direction, and when we get to the brick, cross. Okay, so he's turning to the right, I thought. Oh, he's crossing.
He's crossing.
Wait, no, he's going to the right, so you go to the right. Okay, is your brick in this area? Hold on, let me get around here so I can see the K2 meter. Is your brick in this area? Lighting up to 3, but then it's been 3 all the time.
Heather and I were investigating in the morning after having worked the graveyard shift the night before. I was getting tired because I had reported to work early and had worked a 12-hour shift and still had an hour commute back home to Mansfield. So after the spirit allegedly led Heather to a general area and our not immediately finding her grandfather's brick, we agreed to stop for the day and let me go home and get some rest, and Heather would come back at a later point with her younger cousins and look for the brick. And for the record, I was kind of skeptical over whether the spirit allegedly communicating with us through the dowsing rods and K2 meter was actually Heather's grandfather. After all, he had not died at the park, nor was he buried at the park, so he really wouldn't have had a reason for hanging out at the park. But I digress. A couple weeks later, Heather informed me that she and her cousins had returned to the Veterans Park and found her grandfather's brick. Circled in yellow is the general area where the spirit had led us with the dowsing rods to where her Grandpa Krager's brick was supposedly located. Circled in red is where her grandfather Eldon Krager's brick, shown on the next slide, was actually located. But that's not the end of the story. Circled in blue are 2 other bricks for 2 unrelated Kragers, Clyde, and Ernest, as shown on the next slide. So was the spirit we were allegedly communicating with through the dowsing rods and K2 meter just a friendly spirit trying its best to help Heather find her grandfather's brick?
Last time I was here, we was using dowsing rods and was looking for my grandfather Eldon Krager's brick. And his spirit led us to this area and led us to another set of Kragers, but not the brick I was looking for.
You may have noticed that at the end of the Veterans Walk of Honor is this Civil War memorial. But what, pray tell, is behind this memorial? Here's a look from behind. Just a hill, right?
We're back at the site of the former 6th Street Cemetery in Newark, Ohio. One of the possible reasons why it's allegedly haunted is because they moved the headstones but didn't move the bodies.
So they built the Veterans Walk of Honor over the bodies in unmarked graves. No wonder there's so much activity with the K2 meter in this area.
I'm at the old 6th Street Cemetery, now the Veterans Park in Newark, Ohio. The hill right behind me is the rumor is in a book that I was doing research on the cemetery saying the bodies that was not moved, their headstones is in this hill that's right behind me.